Good evening, guys. This is Working, bringing you a quick update on EOS. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. We're looking at EOS to the dollar 4-hour chart on Bitfinex. And last time we spoke, guys, price was consolidating. Her price had just broken out of this wedge. I believe it was sitting somewhere around 840, 830, somewhere thereabouts. And I said that let me go ahead and just draw it out here. I said if there we go. I said if price did end up breaking, I said more than likely we're going to come down here at least to this 618 fib level and test the 618 fib. I said if price broke below the 618 fib, it was more than likely going to come down and test at least $8, possibly enter this demand zone at $7.95. It came down, tested exactly $8, jumped back up right above the 618 fib. So that is a bullish sign that the bulls are still very much in this fight. We can see the price has moved sideways since then, come down, tested the 618 fib, only been able to break it by a wick, and immediately been rejected back up. And as it's moved sideways, we can see it's created a series of lower highs, higher lows, created this wedge that we're seeing now. And now the question is, guys, which way is this wedge going to break? I do believe that we're going to see a major move in the next 8 to 10 hours, possibly less. Anywhere between now and 8 hours from now, guys, I think we are going to see a major move, at least 5-6% move to the up or to the downside. I do believe if it does break down, we're going to if you're a bull, or excuse me, if you're a bear, you're going to want to watch out for a bear trap to the downside, guys. We're going to need to take out this prior low of this microstructure here. That prior low was exactly, actually it was about $8. It was exactly almost $8, $8.801 depending on your exchange. So you may want to watch out for a breakdown, creating a double bottom, and then coming back up, testing the supply zone up top here. If that $8 does break, then we're very likely going to hit this demand zone between $7.95, $7.60, probably going to come in a little deeper than it did before. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down to at least $7.70, $7.75 in this zone, and more than likely, I do think this zone is going to hold. I think it'll probably, if it does break down, move sideways, consolidate before it decides to make another run. It may initially, it may consolidate and then end up breaking down, may consolidate, end up breaking to the upside. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but I do think if it does hit this zone, it's not going to just fall through. It is going to consolidate, and from there, we'll have to wait and see how the pattern plays, how volume plays out, and how if any news drives the market. But from TA perspective, again, if it does break down, watch for that double bottom and then a jump back up. If that double bottom breaks at $8, then we're going to more than likely consolidate within this demand zone. To the upside, if price does break up, we're going to have to watch out for a bull trap. This microstructure here, the prior high of this microstructure was 852. Depending on your exchange, give or take, possibly 854, possibly 850. Again, depending on your exchange. Here on Bitfinex, it's 852. Price may come up, test that 852, create a double top, and then just break back down to this demand zone down here. So be very careful if you're wanting to if you're wanting to buy. I would wait for a break above this 852. If it does break above 852, I think we're very likely to enter the bottom of this supply zone between 880 and 945. This is going to be a rather strong resistance. We can see it's only been able to wick in here a few times. If price can get above this prior high of 896 on Bitfinex, then I think we have a very, very high possibility of coming up and testing the 945 high. So again, I'm going to be watching for that 896. If we can break that, we're going to be coming up and breaking the 945, or testing the 945 high, or the high of this supply zone. That is going to be a very relevant zone, guys, as I've showed you guys many times before. If we use this as our pivot high, pivot low, or pivot high to our swing low here, we can see that that is exactly the golden zone between the 618 and the 65 fib levels. It's only been able to wick in there a few times. If we can get north of that zone, so we can get north of that 945 top here, that's going to be extremely bullish, and more than likely price will start snowballing to at least this supply zone of 1030 to 1090, where that will be a strong resistance, guys. But I think if it does break 945, it'll be a very quick rise to at least 1030, probably more like 1050. So these are the things that we're going to be looking for, guys. If we look at our indicators, I'm getting no indication of which direction it's going to break. I'm only seeing indications of a major move coming. If I look at the stock RSI here on the 4-hour, we can see that it is kind of just consolidating within this wedge. Actually, if I only looked at this, my bias would be a break to the downside. We can see it's kind of zooming up. This is very indicative of a break to the downside, guys. Doesn't mean that's going to happen. This is a very minute structure. In fact, if I had to guess right here, guys, I would say this would be an indication of a possible double bottom just to break back up. So a bull or a bear trap. Again, that's just a very very quick opinion. I wouldn't base it on that because none of the other indicators are showing me that. If I look at the 4-hour RSI, all I'm getting is a wedge here, a series of lower highs, higher lows, consolidating within this wedge. Excuse me, guys. And this indicates a breakout again within the next to the up or the downside, guys. That's what I mean by a breakout. A major move. Maybe that would be a better, because a lot of people, when I say breakout, they think a break up, and that's not what a breakout means. A breakout could mean a breakdown or a break up. So, but this indicates probably within the next 8 hours, we're going to see a major move to the up or to the downside, guys. So be ready for that. If I look here and I swing out to the daily RSI, once again, we can see a series of lower highs, higher lows. If it does break to the upside, guys, we're going to need to clear this wedge. It does have a little, let me get rid of this so you can see a little better. It does have a little bit of room to rise. So again, that's possibility. If I use this with my let me just move this up. If I use this and compare it to price, we can see, as I said before, guys, we may see a break up, test that 855, 852 high of that microstructure, which would probably be the top of this wedge, and then possibly breaking down. If it does break out of this wedge, if it does break above that price of 852, that's going to be confirmation that we're going to more than likely come up and at least test this prior high in the supply zone of of 896. So if we break above this wedge on the daily RSI, that'll be an extremely bullish indication, guys, and I'm going to be starting to get rather excited if we can break above this wedge. It does have plenty of room to fall to the downside, guys. Hopefully we don't see that play out. I'm a bull at heart, guys. I don't like to short. I like to go long. Looking at the histogram, we're just seeing a series of trending down, kind of more neutral. The MACD line's kind of moving sideways. Signal line hasn't done much moving yet, but this is more of an indicative of just sideways uncertainty, could break in one direction or another. Looking at our moving averages, this is on the daily chart. We can see that we've got plenty of room to the up or downside. If we look at our Bollinger Bands, we can see price is literally sitting right on top of the 21-day EMA, which is represented in yellow. 8-day EMA is represented in blue. We can see the 8 and 21-day EMA are literally right on top of one another. Price is sitting on top of both, and that is once again indicative of a major move coming very, very shortly. Anytime you see those two moving averages sitting right on top of one another, more than likely you're going to get a move a big move up or down in the very near future. If we look at the 4-hour, we get nothing but confirmation that we're going to get a larger move in the next 8 hours or so. We can see Bollinger Bands are starting to squeeze tighter and tighter on one another. We can see the moving averages, the essential move or exponential moving averages, as well as the moving averages, are sitting right on top of one another, and that's indicative, as I told you guys last time, of a major break in one direction or another. And I think I showed you this last time, guys. Anytime you see the moving average squeeze tight like this, expect a major move. We saw it right here where price got a spike up. We saw it in the past here where the moving average literally went on top of one another. We got a major move down. Again, I showed you guys this last time in my last two videos. We can see here moving averages squeezed right near each other, or squeezed on top of each other. We got a massive drop down. So anytime you see this, guys, all the moving averages converging on top of one another, especially on the 4-hour, expect a larger move up or down in the very, very near future. We can also see that volume is starting to decline, almost dwindling down to nothing. Again, that's very indicative that we're going to see a major move in one direction or another very, very shortly. So these are my quick thoughts on EOS, guys. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comments section below. As always, guys, please trade safe. Until next time, this is Working, signing out.